In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with Tre Tailor. Coping. Hey there, and thank you so much for joining us on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor. We're giving you info and advice to help you thrive and survive in life because we will always be coping with something. Today, we're coping with allergies and how they affect your health. Dr. Laura Espinosa joins us. She is an internal medicine specialist at Prisma Health, Simpsonville, board certified. Thank you so much, Dr. Espinosa, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. When we come back, she will talk to us about various allergies that may be plaguing you and me this time of year and what is good and not so good for you to take based on your health. That's coming up next on Coping. I'm Tre Tailor. But first, hey, check the scroll at the bottom of the screen for resources concerning COVID vaccines and testing, financial resources, jobs, housing, and help with your bills. Also, information on scholarships and several community events. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and on demand. Please like, share, and follow so we can get the message to the masses. Today, we are coping with allergies, seasonal allergies, and how they affect your health. Dr. Laura Espinosa joins us. She's a board-certified internal medicine specialist at Prisma Health, Simpsonville. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Espinosa. I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. So listen, this time of year, I know that a lot of people, and we've done a couple of shows already about seasonal allergies. What are some of the other allergies that may be plaguing us right now?
You know, seasonal is really big right now. We've got a lot of that tree pollen. Everybody's walking outside and they're starting to see the yellow covering their cars and sidewalks. So lots of tree pollen is you know, we always have our pets and pet allergies, you know, folks that have cats and dogs at home, you know, our little fur babies, they always have pet dander and
Yeah.
year round. But right now, really big is probably our seasonal springtime allergies.
How much longer? I mean, we just started with spring. Last week, I think, was the first day of spring, but we certainly started seeing the pollen earlier because the weather got warmer. So how much more seasonal allergies are we going to have to suffer through?
Gosh, I think we've got a good couple more months left in this. And it did start earlier this year than what we usually expected. So people have already been dealing with this for probably close to a month already now.
Yeah. You can be allergic to, I guess, tree pollen and not be allergic to something else, right? It kind of just depends.
Yes, you can be tree pollen or you can be grass or, you know, you can be dust, dust mites, pets. Um, you know, there's other allergies like our food allergies and medication allergies as well. But yeah, you can be allergic to some things and not other things. Some people have their allergy symptoms in the spring, but not the fall. And some folks, you know, get them all year.
Yeah. Dr. Laura Espinosa joins us. She's a board certified internal medicine physician at Prisma Health, Simpsonville. We are coping with your allergies and what medicines are best for you. Now, there are a myriad of stuff that we can get over the counter and by prescription. What is the best thing to treat for what?
You know, we always encourage folks to try over the counter prescriptions first. They are very effective a lot of times and they can take care of your problem. They do take some weeks to work though. So we usually encourage folks to be patient. You know, if you start taking an over the counter Claritin or a Zyrtec or an Allegra, give it a good 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
It's going to take some time. And, you know, for our folks that suffer from seasonal allergies, I usually tell them, you know, a good 3 or 4 weeks before you expect the true allergy season to start, you want to start taking that allergy medicine, getting it into your system so that you're good to go when that pollen hits.
So you're saying it does make a difference if you take the medicine before you start seeing the symptoms.
Yes, you want to take it before, several weeks before, get it into your system, get it working. Once you're in the throes of, you know, the runny nose and the itchy eyes, you start taking it. It takes it a while. it takes it at least probably 7 to 10 days to
Wow.
full effect. Um, there's some faster acting agents like your Benadryls and things like that, but those can cause a lot of just feeling fatigued or sleepy. So those we really try to use sparingly as needed because they can cause a lot of sleepiness.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because two things I want to mention. One, I wanted to know, is there anything while we're trying to build up our resilience, is there anything we can take that would, you know, help immediately? And you're saying a lot of times the Benadryl, which goes to my next point. I noticed that allergy medicines, for the most part, I don't know if they are treating the symptoms as much as they are making you sleep so you don't even know that you have the symptoms.
Yeah, the older allergy stuff like the Benadryls, they can make you very sleepy. The newer medications, they're targeting a slightly different histamine receptor, so they don't make you as sleepy. So you definitely want to be using those Claritins and Zyrtec and Allegra because they are not as they don't cause as much sleepiness as your Benadryl does. And all of these are great at reducing your body's immune response to the allergens. And that's essentially what we're treating. We're treating the immune response, which causes the red nose and the itchy eyes, and all those things. There's other things that you can do to protect yourself and environmental changes that you're going to want to make in your home to decrease how much of these symptoms you're having while your medicine kicks in. And then you can always use some over-the-counter decongestants, but you really have to be careful with products like Afrin and pseudoephedrine because while they're great decongestants for our older populations, folks that have high blood pressure, that have had heart disease or strokes, those medications can cause an unsafe elevation in your blood pressure, and they're really not recommended for those patients.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was going to be my next thing. Dr. Laura Espinosa joins us. We are coping with allergies and how they affect your overall health. She's a board certified internal medicine physician at Prisma Health, Simpsonville, South Carolina. And we have been talking about the types of medication that you can use. And you just, I kind of went there where I was going, Dr. Espinosa, as far as if you have high blood pressure, if you have had a stroke, if you have diabetes, what should you and shouldn't you be using and why?
Yeah, as I mentioned briefly, products like pseudoephedrine and Afrin. Afrin is a nasal spray, pseudoephedrine, and they're used to decongest, to kind of dry up that excessive runny, drippy nose. And those products, because of the components that are in them, they raise your blood pressure. So those products are not safe for folks that have hypertension, that are on medications for high blood pressure, that have had heart disease, heart attacks, strokes. We don't want to use those medications for those patients. There is a brand of over-the-counter medications that I usually tell my patients with high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes to take, and that's the Coricidin brand. And it usually has a little heart on the box. It's called Coricidin HBP, and they have a line of products for cold symptoms that do not have those components in them and won't affect the blood pressure.
Right, because I was going to ask, so those folks who have those underlying conditions, do they have to suffer? But you're saying no, because I have seen that there is a line, Coricidin being one of them, that is specifically for people who have high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes. Is it less effective?
No, I think my patients really, really like the relief that they get from it. Um, it's not the same, obviously, as a vasoconstrictor, which is what those other products are, the pseudoephedrine and the Afrin. They have a component in them that constricts those blood vessels And that's what helps to dry things out. But at the same time, that constriction is not good for our high blood pressure folks. So it's different, but I think patients do get significant relief with the quercetin.
Right. Dr. Laura Espinosa joins us. We are coping with allergies and how the medicines affect you and the types of medicines you should and shouldn't take based on your health. She's a board certified internal medicine physician at Prisma Health in Simpsonville. And of course, we've been talking about different medications. Now, we've talked mostly about over the counter and medicines, pills, liquids, things like that. Is a pill better than a liquid, or is a liquid better because it kind of gets to the meat of the problem first, easier?
It kind of depends. If we're talking for like allergy control, something as an antihistamine, tablets are just fine. Certainly when folks are trying to relieve a cough, a cough syrup is just very soothing
It
in
is.
a way. And there are other tablets that people can take for cough. Mucinex is a great product for once stuff settled in the chest and we need to break stuff up. We use Mucinex a lot. By prescription, we prescribe Tessalon pearls as a cough suppressant, and those are also very safe for our patients that have blood pressure issues. And there's a whole host of other medications that can be taken as cough suppressants and decongestants. From an allergy perspective, certainly there's different medications like Singulair that are by prescription that can help. And this is more for folks that have a long history of allergies and really aren't getting much relief from the run-of-the-mill over-the-counter medications.
Right. So what you get by prescription is by and large stronger.
It's targeting different things.
Okay.
It's targeting a different pathway in the allergy chain. But yes, they can have a stronger effect because we're targeting something a little bit different than just your run-of-the-mill antihistamine.
What do you think about nose sprays, eye drops? Are there preferences there? And do folks with underlying, conditions, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, do they need to be conscientious of those too? Do they affect them?
Yeah, the nasal spray is one of those topical vasoconstrictors. There's certainly the potential for some systemic effects of increasing blood pressure. Also, Afrin tends to cause a rebound effect. So if you use it for more than 3, actually make the runny nose even worse.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you have to be really careful with the Afrin. It can be effective if it's used, 3 days or less. To just kind of try and relieve some of that symptoms. There's Flonase and other inhaled steroids or steroid sprays that can be used by prescription. And the steroids, also kind of tamps down that immune system response to the and helps with the nasal congestion as well.
Board certified internal medicine physician at Prisma Health, Simpsonville. If you just joined us, please hit the rewind button because she has been dropping some major gems about what medicines you should and should not take based on your health, specifically if you've got diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and have had a stroke. Dr. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for giving us this information. I mean, other than seasonal allergies, folks are suffering with all types of allergies. Like you said, it could be pet dander, it could be a little bit of everything. And it's important to know what are the best things to take, because you don't want to take something that's going to make not only your symptoms, but some other conditions that you have worse. So this is important information to have.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been really great chatting with you today.
Thank you so much. Dr. Laura Espinosa, board certified internal medicine physician at Prisma Health, Simpsonville. Thank you again. We appreciate it. So listen, if you have a product or service that could help someone cope please email copingwithtretailor@gmail.com. That information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like all of our sponsors. In It Together, SC, and also DHEC. We also want to thank the folks at the Palmetto Media Connections, Javis Financial Services, the Comet Bus Systems, the South Carolina State Fair, and Agape Counseling and Training Services. Now, if you have a story or initiative that could help someone cope, please email booking@copingwithtretatailor.com. We would love to talk to you and spotlight your story or initiative. Coming up next, the devotional on coping. I'm Tre Tailor.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Sawyer, an entrepreneur and caregiver. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Up to 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. This message brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of SC.
Hi, I'm Tre Tailor. We'll always be coping with something, but God is always with us. Today's devotion says, when something in your life or thoughts make you anxious, come to me and talk to me. Thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity to trust you more. That's what we should say. Though the lessons of trust that I send you come wrapped with difficulties, the benefits far outweigh the cost. Well-developed trust will bring you many blessings, not the least of which is my peace. I have promised to keep you in perfect peace to the extent that you trust in me. The world has it backwards, teaching that peace is the result of having enough money, possessions, insurance, security systems. But my peace, God says, is such an all-encompassing gift that it's independent of all circumstances. Though you lose everything else, if you gain my peace, you are rich indeed. That's your devotional for today.
Coping, find peace of mind to survive through whatever. Coping, learning the way that we thrive all together. Coping, finding out what's real. Coping, we can heal, we can heal, we can heal. Coping with stress, coping with strife, bringing hope for success, for improving our life. Coping beyond hoping to do more than survive, ways to live a healthy life. Coping and promoting, learning what you can do, 6 ways to a better you. Coping, find peace of mind to survive